Okay, so I need to start off this video very seriously because apparently when I was telling my lawyer about basically what story I want to tell for, today, he said that I needed to make sure I say this so I don't get into any legal trouble with anyone that knows me or knows of the story already, since, most of the stories are real and there are people in my life that know what happened to me and stuff, IRLs basically. So basically I need to say this, and my lawyer gave me basically, a script of what to say so I don't get any trouble. And yeah, so this beginning part will be specifically for that. So I'm just gonna quickly read this guy so I don't get in trouble. So let's just get straight into it. The content in the story requiring the teacher does no longer work in the school district I used to go to. And this video is not meant to cause any harm towards the school district and the teacher mentioned in this video. And now that that's over with, yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba and welcome back to a very embarrassing, but yet I'm not gonna lie to you, insane story. So today's story takes place back when I was actually in high school, and this was actually in September, and I think we all know what happens in September. That's when school starts. And when school starts, honestly, everyone, and I mean every single person, goes crazy because obviously your schedule gets, all cooped up. And especially for me, knowing that this was my grade 12 year that I'm talking about. Yeah, my final year in high school was the most insane thing ever. Actually, speaking of school and grades, what grade are you guys in? Comment it down below so I kind of just get a gist of how old you guys are, and maybe I can tell you guys more stories about that specific year that you guys are maybe also in right now. Or if you really would just want to tell me straight up, just join me live on Kick streaming, telling crazy stories like this all the time, face to face. Anyways, going on though, I remember basically this was my grade 12 year, and in grade 12, I remember the one thing I was really worried about and stressing out about for the longest time was what I was going to be when I got older. Because obviously that's when, like, the jokes from kindergarten of you making up what you want to be, and then 12 years later actually having to do those things is really scary. Obviously, life just changes a lot in grade 12. That's when you start becoming legal age, even though legal age in Canada is 16, but you know what? We're just gonna say 18 because what kind of person goes for... never mind, we're not gonna talk about that. But going on though. Anyways, I remember my grade 12 year, I was walking down the school hallway, and I remember I wanted to take courses that would actually benefit my future. So I ended up taking a course called business studies. Business studies is where you basically learn about business and, learn about what those guys in suits actually do with their briefcases and stuff. Just basic number crunching and learning how to run a full-on managing business. And basically, I remember I decided to take that course, and I thought it was going to be the most boring thing ever, but at the same time beneficial for my future, which is what I wanted. But then I remember when I actually entered inside the classroom, and when I actually went for my first, day going in that classroom, I ended up showing up a bit early just so I can make sure the teacher doesn't hate my guts for being late. And when I entered inside, and I'm not gonna lie to you, when I looked around, I couldn't find where the teacher was, and to be honest, on the name of like the charts, it said Mr. something, so I thought this teacher was some old boring dude. But when I was looking around, I saw there was no teacher, but there was a girl wearing like a full-on like dressing suit. I don't know what it is when girls wear suits basically, and she was in there sitting on the teacher's desk. I remember I walked up to her saying, yo, do you know where the teacher is? She looks over at me and says, what do you mean? The teacher for this class, business studies. Yeah, that's me. You're the teacher. Yeah. When I found that this girl was a teacher, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was in major shock. Why was I in major shock? Well, let me tell you this much. This girl that was apparently my teacher did not look any older than maybe 25 at most, and she was like one of the most attractive looking girls in my school. Even though she was a teacher, she was still in the school. And on top of that, did I mention she had massive cherries, and her peach when she was wearing that skirt was like I can't even explain it. So I remember me when she told me she was a teacher, I was kind of like, apologizing because I didn't want to get on a bad step with her, even though the real reason was because she was hot as hell. But the main thing is that I wanted to make sure, me and her were on common ground so I wouldn't get in trouble. So I ended up complimenting her saying, oh, like, sorry, I thought you were a student. You look really cute for a teacher. My bad. And I ended up walking away. I didn't let her finish what she wanted to say to me because obviously I just called my teacher cute. I can get in severe trouble. Like, it's like being in kindergarten and calling your teacher mom. Like, it's just super weird. And then from there, I remember I ended up basically sitting down, super nervous for my first day of business studies, knowing how it just went down. But little did I know, things were actually going to end up being even worse. Because I remember when I was sitting my first day, she was introducing herself and stuff like that, and told me why apparently on the charts or on like the script of like what teacher's which, they accidentally put down Mr. instead of Mrs. Makes sense why I thought the teacher was a dude. But going on though, I remember from there, I was like super nervous just sitting there the whole time. I'm not gonna lie to you, the whole time she was talking, I couldn't stop staring staring at her cherries. And yeah, that was basically me the whole time. And I remember when I was sitting there staring at her cherries, she ended up actually like handing out this like worksheet basically of like, you know, all the things we're gonna learn in this class. Basically like a unit sheet, I think it's what it's called. So I remember after she was done handing out the sheet, there was a person that was sitting right in front of me that had a question about the unit that we were gonna learn like sometime later in the future. So what my teacher does is walk up to the student, and literally, since he was right in front of me, she ended up going behind the student and bending over around his shoulder. Now, you guys probably have no idea what I'm explaining, so I'm gonna basically like show an example just so you guys don't get weirded out. This was me, right? I'm sitting here with my piece of paper doing my thing. My teacher was like right in front of me, bending over and like showing him what's what. This is super weird, and I can't really do this, but you guys know what I mean. Like basically I'm just sitting there with like that peach right in front of me. I will say this, it was super awkward and I didn't know what to do or say. So I remember I just ended up sitting there just kind of freaking out thinking, wow, this girl's peach is really nice. And one thing I will say is that as I was staring at her peach, a lot of people were also doing it with me. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't the only one doing it. Anyways, I remember afterwards when all that was over, I was relieved to finally leave the classroom because the bell ended up ringing, and right as I got up to leave, the teacher tells me, "Oh, Bubba, can I talk to you after?" After what is what I said. Oh, well, I mean like right now. Sorry, I meant like after class, but it is after class. So can I talk to you right now? Yeah, sure. So as everyone was leaving for lunch, I remember I ended up walking up to her saying, "Hey, like, is everything good?" "Yeah, I just wanted to talk about that comment you made earlier. I wanted to say thank you, but at the same time, you shouldn't be saying stuff like that." "Oh, it was my bad. Like, you know, I was just complimented you. It's nothing crazy." And then she looks over at me saying, "Yeah, but like, I'm your teacher. I'm not gonna lie to you. Since it was my grade 12 year as well, at this point in time, I've had so many moments where I did the devil's tango. And I could just care less what this teacher thinks, to be honest. But then I remember as I walked out of the classroom, she ended up actually following behind me. Now, I thought she was gonna walk me to the office, but we ended up actually both walking out to the same place, which was the parking lot. Now, the reason I walked over to the parking lot, it was because I park my car there all the time. Well, I mean, it's the parking lot. Obviously, you have to park your car there. But basically, I parked my car there and I was about to get into my car. But as the teacher was walking and talking with me, she was like basically like discussing how like, you know, I shouldn't be saying those things or whatever. I don't know. She was saying some BS. To be honest, I don't fully remember because it was so long ago. But going on though, from there, I remember I ended up actually going to my car, and when I actually opened the door, my teacher said this. "Oh, is this your car?" Yeah. "Oh my goodness, my ex-boyfriend had the exact same one. It looks just like the same thing." Cool, I guess. "Can we go for a ride?" At this point, this teacher wanted to go for a ride with me in my car. Kind of weird for the first day of school, but I mean, sure, I guess. So I ended up letting her inside my car. We ended up going for a drive, and as I was leaving the parking lot, driving out of there, I will say this much, a lot of students, and I mean a lot of them, were staring into my car knowing that my teacher was in the car with me. At this point, I remember me and her, we ended up just driving around, and we actually ended up going to a parking lot, and we ended up picking up Subway and started eating Subway sandwiches inside my car. I will say this much, I had friends in high school. I don't know why I didn't hang out with them, but I guess for the first day, making friends with your business teacher to that level is kind of insane. But from there, I remember me and her, we started talking and stuff, and then we ended up actually, funny enough, you know, talking about life, and then she ended up telling me how she did the devil's tango one time in the back seat, and I told her I've done it as well, also in the back seat of my car. And I've told that story, by the way, on the channel. If you haven't watched that already, go for it. And basically, me and her, we ended up doing it in the back of my car. Yeah, we did the devil's tango in the back of the vehicle. I will say this, it is super weird and super awkward, but at the same time though, I don't know, it is what it is. But that's not even the worst part, because I remember that same day when I drove back to school, I actually got called into the principal's office, and I saw the teacher there as well. And apparently a lot of students were sending photos around of me and the teacher being in the car together. But yeah, let's just say I wasn't allowed to take that business course and had to switch over to art class because me and that teacher were not allowed to be near each other. Anyways, guys, that is basically it for today's video. Make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like I always say, fall for more embarrassing stories. Peace out, guys.